Hey guys, it's History Behind the Warrior and welcome to another Soul Calibur 6 video. Now today I'll be talking about none other than Yun-Seong. Now Yun is of Korean descent. The details on Yun's life are actually very scarce. We are at no point visually introduced to either of his parents. However, we do know that his father did pass away from a form of sickness and his mother's whereabouts are currently unknown. So Yun for a significant amount of time grew up as an orphan, but that is until he was picked up and taken in by an old martial arts teacher known as Han-Myung. Now for those of you who don't know, Han-Myung is actually the father of Seong Mina, or Mina-Seong, depending on how you want to pronounce it. Now Han would happily take the young boy in and train him to be a humble yet stern young man. However, this didn't always click with Yun's personality, as he was a rather enthusiastic and rebellious individual. Now whilst growing up in the Seong household, Yun idolized a former student of Han-Myung's teachings, that being Hwang. You see, at this point in time, Hwang had joined the army and was a well-known and well-respected fighter in the entirety of Korea. So when Yun was growing up in the Seong household, he would idolize Hwang. I wouldn't just want to meet his caliber and status, but also surpass it in time. As the years passed by, Yun became a very talented fighter, mirroring and even copying Hwang's fighting style. But when he had the opportunity to challenge him, Hwang would deny the challenge, as during this time Hwang himself had his hands full with the army and also the pursuit of Soul Edge. So naturally, Yun felt rather discouraged because of this, and there's no denying that he had some form of bitterness from Hwang declining his challenge. Now Han-Myung's daughter Mina felt very sorry for him, as she had trained alongside him for a very long amount of time and knew how much this challenge had meant to him. So to raise his spirits, she would pass him a powerful family heirloom known as the White Storm. It was a legendary Dao sword that was said to embody the strengths and none of the weaknesses of its wielder. Now Yun was extremely grateful towards Mina for such a kind gesture, but Yun knew that he needed to raise his own character status, one that would not only meet Hwang's but also surpass it. So he would catch word of Hwang's current quest of pursuing Soul Edge and want to follow it himself, as Hwang himself had been unsuccessful in tracking it down. So he believed that if he was able to obtain this, then he'd be seen as a hero by the people of Korea when he returned. So without a second thought, he would leave Korea and travel west. Now this actually leads up to a whole tale of events, as Yun had left and not told anyone at the Seong household what he was going to do. So the dangerous situation that he had put himself in, as he himself did not understand the true properties of what Soul Edge actually is, Mina's forced to try and track him down before he comes face to face with the wielder of Soul Edge. Now during his journey out to the west, he would come across a group of orphans who were the remnants of a war that had ravaged their land. Now although he was pursuing Soul Edge, he decided to stop in his tracks in order to help them, and this is where he came into contact with the young Talim. Now it was in fact Talim that broke the news to him that the so-called Sword of Salvation that he had been pursuing was in fact an evil blade that in fact possesses its wielder and turns them into a bloodthirsty monster. Now despite learning this, Yun would deny her claims, as he did have his heart set on bringing the sword back to Korea. Now before the two could argue about what this was, one of the children had fallen extremely ill, so the two decided to put their differences aside and attempt to save his life. But it's also here where Yun-Seong started to learn more about Soul Edge. You see, the young boy had received a fragment of Soul Edge, and the dark energy that radiated from it was starting to kill the young boy. Now despite Talim's treatment, the boy's condition wasn't improving, so Yun-Seong would take his White Storm blade and use its mystical healing properties in order to diminish the corruption the boy had suffered from the fragment. The young boy thanked him, but also did warn him about the quest that he was on, saying that if he really wanted to fulfill this idea, then he would have to come face to face with its wielder. And the young boy explained the details as the Azure Night Nightmare to him, and saying that he was located in none other than Ostrheinsberg in Germany. So Yun and Talim would leave the village in order to track down Soul Edge. Now whilst on their journey, when they were just outside of Germany, Mina was finally able to catch up to him, and it's here where she basically confirmed all of the details that Talim had already told him. Now despite the numerous warnings he had coming his way, Yun was in complete denial of this. He still wanted to pursue this quest and come out as the hero. So in the middle of the night, he would leave the two and travel to Ostrheinsberg alone, as he felt that the only way he could do this is by doing it himself. Now whilst approaching Ostrheinsberg, he would cross paths with Hwang. Now Hwang was well aware of the journey and path that he was on, but instead of wanting to take him home like Mina did, he would instead allow Yun to choose his own future and his own destiny. It wasn't up to him to help decide what Yun should do, and thus he would allow him to continue with his journey to Ostrheinsberg. Now during the events of Soul Calibur 4, Siegfried is successful in vanquishing Nightmare, so when Mina, Hwang and Yun returned back to Korea, they were in fact seen seen as heroes by their people, as Korea had learned the true properties of Soul Edge. So when they all returned back home to Korea after Soul Edge was destroyed, they all somewhat got what they wanted. As Mina wanted to bring Yun-Seong back home, Yun wanted to be seen as a hero by the people of Korea, and Hwang was determined to have Soul Edge be destroyed. So in a way they all did win. Now from this point onwards, the trio would take over the dojo and start raising a new generation of fighters. But yeah, that's it for this video guys. I do hope you enjoyed it and have learned more about Yun-Seong as a character, as I am well aware that he is rather popular in the series and someone who I definitely would tick as DLC potential, seeing as we are a week away and it does seem like we may not be getting him on the base roster. Now what are your thoughts on this character, and would you be interested to see him be DLC or his idol Hwang, as I'm well aware that they share a lot of similarities when it does come to movesets. Also just a quick heads up on a plug-in here, by the time this video goes up I should be streaming some Soul Calibur 4 and some Soul Calibur 5 on my Twitch channel right now, so if possible guys please do head over and we can talk about all things Soul Calibur related. Plus it is a great way of interacting with me on a one-on-one level and just having a good time, so please do come over. But yeah, that's kind of it for this video guys, and before this video wraps up, if possible let's try getting it to about 500 likes. It's a great way of supporting this channel since YouTube's ad system is broken as hell, so by giving it a thumbs up it helps out a ton. And if you want to go that extra step, we also have a Patreon set up and a link for it will be down in the description below. Anyway guys, as always please comment, like, subscribe and share this video with everyone you know. Please take care and I'll see you all next time.